Hi, fellow traders. What's happening? Man, we are off to a really slow start this week. I know 1/3 of the S&P 500 is reporting earnings this week. I thought this would be a really volatile week. Some good earnings trades coming up. Yesterday, no trades at all. Did not get a good setup. Did not get a good clean setup. Today, I got one, and it just no follow through. A lot of the stocks that was on our watch for earnings were just too crowded. It moved into an area where you really didn't have any clean trades, and it is frustrating. So this earnings season is different than any other earnings season that anybody's been through. Anybody that says they've been through a market like this is lying through their teeth. They could say 2008 was the same. It wasn't. It's totally different. Go back and look at the chart if you don't believe me. Totally different. The reason the market is trading the way it's trading has nothing to do with a financial crisis. So even though the financial downfall is a result of the virus, we are dealing with that, but it's just a result. It's not the actual reason that the market is trading the way it is. And nobody has been through it before. All we can do is rely on technical analysis and let the market dictate to us where it needs to go. So there are times where we have to adapt to what the market is giving us. We don't change what we do. We don't change up our strategy. We don't walk away pouting, talking about this doesn't work anymore, the market doesn't like me, and all this other stuff. We just make little subtle changes. We don't change our foundation. We don't change the fundamental. Just subtle changes. That's all we need to do. I'm looking at being a little more aggressive at the open, because it seems like we have a 30-minute window to make as much money as we can, and the rest of the day is chop soup or chop suey or whatever you want to call it. It's a scalper's paradise because it trades in ranges, and they're tight ranges. They're predictable. But I don't like going in looking for 30, 40-cent moves. It's just not what I like to do. And it doesn't benefit me. So I have to be more aggressive at the open, and maybe even go to some pre-market trading. That's what I used to do. I don't have to take my son to school anymore. It's just like in the summertime. I haven't had to take him to school for almost 2 months, but I just haven't traded pre-market. Never got into it. But you see, there are a lot of good moves. A lot of good moves. I just haven't been trading it. So I may look into extending or starting my day a little bit early and bumping up my time frame a little bit at the open. Now, in no way in hell I'm going to go to a 1-minute chart or faster. That's just not me. Maybe 3 minutes. And try to get a little bit more to move. Not being so aggressive in terms of profit targets. Narrow my profit targets a little bit more. Take more off. Maybe take 2/3 off on the first hit and let it run from there. Things that you have to do if the market is just not where you want it to be. I'm not chasing it. I'm just letting it tell me what it's going to give me, and I'm going to go take it. And that's basically what it boils down to. So, going to be looking at doing that over the next couple of weeks. So, and I'll be talking about it every day in chat every morning. I'm going to be explaining to you some of the things that I'm going to change or adapt to. But the strategy is going to stay the same. How I execute is going to stay the same. Just some little subtle changes that we make to stay with the market. So what I have, the statement I have here, a disciplined person can accomplish anything. And it is the God's honest truth. If somebody is disciplined, they're going to do whatever it takes in order to succeed. No matter how no matter how hard it is, no matter how time consuming it is, no matter how mentally draining it is, they're going to do what it takes. A disciplined trader is not going to overtrade. They're not going to chase stocks. They're not going to chase strategies and chase YouTube traders or Twitter traders or whatever. You're going to focus on your strategy, your setup, what feels good to you. And if it's not working that day, you shut it down. And I try to be the best example of that. When the market is not where it needs to be, don't trade. Yesterday, no trades. Didn't take a trade. Did not get a clean setup. I was not going to force it. The second, today, we had a decent opening range opportunity. Did not follow through. Got the first target and came back. A lot of the stocks we had on watch, they appear to set up, but you have to zoom out. You have to look at the range. The stocks practically traded itself and painted itself into a corner to where at the open, it actually had no range to really move. You have to pay attention to that. And when it does that, don't take the trade. Don't try to force anything. Let it go. And there are going to be times when you stick to your rules, it keeps you out of a trade, and it takes off. You have to be disciplined enough to just let that go and not come back tomorrow and say, okay, this one ran and this one looks the same way, so I'm going to chase it. Because 9 times out of 10, that's not going to work. And I hope it doesn't work, because if it does, then you're really going to be in trouble. So you want to make sure that you stay disciplined through these times. That if it doesn't set up the way you want it to set up, you walk away from it. All right? You walk away from it. And don't get caught up in chasing. And if somebody's saying that they're doing good on this trade, don't go run trying to jump in behind what they're doing. Okay? You could look at it, look at what they did, try to figure out what triggered it, all of that. But don't go jumping in and running behind them. So you got to stay disciplined, because a disciplined person can accomplish anything. And to rant a little bit, you have, and I've said this before, you have to be teachable. If you're asking me something and I'm telling you about how I'm doing something, and then you're telling me, well, no, I do it this way. Okay, fine, keep doing it. And if it's working for you, what the hell you need me for? Okay, that's the idea that I have. Because I'm here to try to help you achieve your dreams, your goals in trading. I know how to do it. I've done it. I've been there. I know what works and what doesn't. And I know, and I've worked with people who've had the same ideas that it just doesn't work. And when I try to explain it to you, that's all I can do. All I can do is demonstrate to you every day, this is what you have to do. This is how you have to be. This is the time you need to shut it down and walk away, because all you're going to do is get your money chopped out of your account. It's because I've been there, done that. And I've worked with a lot of traders that's been there, done that, and has gone through that same cycle. there are going to be times when you really just need to sit on your hands and walk away. You can try a trade, test the waters. If it doesn't work, let it go. And come back tomorrow. The market is going to offer opportunities every day. Some days we're in the right spot, some days we're not. Everybody knows who Michael Jordan is. Some say he's the best basketball player that ever lived. We've got other basketball players now with incredible talent that can rival him. But the one thing, the best skill Michael Jordan said he had, his most precious and most important skill, was that he was coachable. And that is very, very powerful. And that's what I'm talking about when I ask you, are you teachable? Because him being coachable, even though he was really good and really talented, he couldn't develop that talent if he wasn't coachable. He wouldn't have been able to do it. There's so many guys who were talented in high school, incredibly talented, but they were not coachable. When they got to college, they weren't coachable. They were undisciplined in their craft. And they didn't make it. That some tried to go to the pros. They were undisciplined in their craft. They were uncoachable. And they failed. It's the same thing in trading. You come into trading, you're unteachable and you're undisciplined, you're going to fail. So I can't put it any cleaner than that. I'm sorry for the rant, but I dealt with some stuff today that if you knew, you'd understand. But I'm going to keep it all to myself. But just trust me. Trust me. You have to be disciplined. All right, so we're going to work on a 30-day refocus challenge. Everybody needs to be refocused. I talk to a lot of traders every week, and this has to happen. So starting, I know May 1st is on Friday, I believe, but starting Monday, we're going to do a 30-day refocus challenge. We're going to take the month of May, and we are going to refocus. And we're going to hit these summer months and the times that we really need to be disciplined, we really need to be focused. It's the summertime. I know this market is challenging. The summer market is challenging as well. So we need to be focused. So we're going to own this change. We're going to refocus our trading over these next 30 days. And we're going to kick it off on Monday. We're going to, I'm going to be introducing some stuff every day that we want to pay attention to focus on. It's all about getting you consistently profitable. I don't care if you make $50 a week or $500 a week. It needs to be consistent. And so that's where everybody needs to be. Once you get consistent, you can start adding position size. And as you do that, you can make more money. Also, once you are consistently profitable trading some just basic day trading strategies, you'll learn how to become more intuitive. I can teach you multiple intuitive strategies, but I'm not going to teach it to you if you can't trade. If you can't trade basic mechanical strategies that you could start using some of your intuitiveness to increase your profitability in these strategies, you can't trade just plain intuitive strategies, because then it'll just be gambling, because you won't know what you're doing. You'll just guess. Earnings is one of those really intuitive strategies. Now, I tried to bring some technical and fundamental analysis in with it, but as you're beginning to see, if you're following it, it's intuitive. And that's why when the market is not where I want it to be, if I don't have the feel in the market, I'm not trading earnings. Just not going to do it. And that goes back to having a discipline that I was talking about. So starting Monday, we're doing our 30-day refocus challenge. We're really going to dig in and try it and pinpoint the challenges that we have and find ways we could just dig in and knock them out, one at a time. All right, so today, now we looked at the SPY here, and we see where this is the level that I was telling you guys about Sunday. This 285.54 level. This is where we dipped back in February. This is where after the initial sell-off, we bounced. We dipped down to here. We bounced off of this level, came back, and we kind of sold through. But you can see we kind of rejected here a couple of times, and we claimed it. But we came back today, and we retested this thing a couple of times. All right, I'll just bring the live chart up here. All right, so go to the 5-minute chart. Look at how many times we tested this level today. Once, you can say this is twice, 3, and it held up. We kind of triple bottomed here. And now look where we are right now. It's 1945. Look at where we are. And we're still holding above this. So my contention was if we held this support, then we're going to see 300 by the end of the week. I still think it's possible. As long as we hold this level and we don't get any really negative stuff coming out. I'm not as sure as I was Sunday, because the last 2 days on earnings haven't really been what I was looking for. They've been really sad earnings days. So if we have another sad earnings day tomorrow, I'm going to have less confidence that this is going to go. But this is exactly what the level that I was talking about, I was looking at. And this thing goes back to, let's see, all the way back in through here. I mean, this is a pretty big supply zone that we're dealing with right now. So we'll be keeping our eye on that. So today, I was looking at HOG. I honestly thought HOG had the best chance to make a good move for me. I sized up on this, went in 500 shares, and because I knew my profit targets were going to be a little bit tighter. We had this 2185 level here that if it got stuffed here, I was going to dump it and wait for the next setup. I really thought this was going to be the one that was going to grip, and we could grip it and rip it. But you can see, caught it on the break, as perfect of an entry as we can get. Hit my first target through 22, and that was that. My final target was the 50-day, which was just over 23. It was like 2307, 2308. That was my final target. Now, that would have been a pretty good move. Got in around 2144, 23, right at 23. That's over 1.5. We're scaling out with 500 shares. That would have been a pretty good haul. But it just wasn't there to be. And most of the stocks just crapped out today. It just crapped out. But BA, Roku, the ones that we typically watch, that we've been struggling with a little bit lately, made huge moves. I wasn't watching them today. I was 100% focused on our earnings. But I did try to take a trade. And knowing this was the third rejection, that anytime you're going with the third rejection, a lot of times it's just not going to work. But I was feeling this and thinking that we would get down to the 90-day, which was around 115 or so. I felt we could get there because, Roku moves with big range, but it was no go. Because here was the initial opening range breakdown here. Here's a rejection in the second move. And then I should have known with all of this here that we probably weren't going to get it, but things started to tighten up and it looked pretty good. So I gave it a shot and it just didn't work. And here, it stopped me out here, but it came back, made a higher low, and then didn't really do much. It just traded around in no man's land. So this is why I'm saying by 10 o'clock, I need to really be in the money. And we could probably find some secondary trades till 11. After that, there's just nothing right now. Nothing. Here's a little good scalp move here on this rejection of the moving averages, the VWAP, the 50, the 9, and the 20. Here's a solid entry right here around 120, 50-ish or so. And you got maybe a point if we were lucky, but not the kind of day I like. Not the kind of day I like. So we're gonna regroup, come back tomorrow, and we managed. I didn't push it, didn't force it. Managed our risk. God dog it, I forgot to put the damn P&L up. But we did have a red day, obviously. You could see that right off the bat. But not a big red day. And I don't even, I never even looked at the P&L because I don't even know how much red it is. I know it's red because this was a $300 max loss stop. And I only got a base hit on this first one here. So maybe $150, $160 red. I don't know. Yep, I can't figure it in my head right now. My mind is mush. I'm tired. Time to eat dinner and wind down from the day. But we'll come back tomorrow and we'll get everything sorted out. Like I said, I'll be telling you a little bit more about what I'm going to be adjusting. We're going to talk more about that in the morning when we're doing building our watch list and going through all of that. So if you usually show up at 9 o'clock just looking for the watch list, if you want to know what's going to happen, you need to be there by 8:30. I'm not going to repeat it after 9. I'm going to be meditating and getting my head ready for the market. So make sure you get in early so you can hear what I'm going to be doing. All right, it's not anything major, but it's going to look a little different at the open. And I'm not going to be able to answer questions while I'm in trading mode, especially the open. So come in early and check that out. So you guys have a great night, a great evening, and I will catch you guys in the morning.